for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Condamné pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Tuesday, July 15th. Thanks for watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. On the agenda tonight, Jimmy Murphy of the Sick Podcast, the Eye Test, and RG Media had a chance to talk to Montreal Canadiens Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gorton. He did that yesterday morning. A lot of things were brought up. They talked about the center ice position. They talked about Kirby Dach. They talked about Alex Newhook. They talked about other center icemen out there, or I don't know if they actually got in, how deep they got into it. He's going to tell us just a second. A lot of talk about Mike Matheson, who's going to be entering the final year of his contract, the most utilized defenseman by the Montreal Canadiens in terms of time on ice during the regular season and the playoffs. A player who 1 year ago, not this past season, but the year before, had picked up 62 points. We'll talk to Jimmy about that. And the rumor of the day, courtesy of Nick Kyprios of Sportsnet, is that Nazem Kadri would be willing to waive his no trade and welcome a trade to the Toronto Maple Leafs and or to the Montreal Canadiens. We'll discuss that with Jimmy as well. Before we do so, 3 tasty reasons to visit the Rail. One of our sponsors is Playground, and the Rail is right inside the Playground complex. Mondays as of 4 p.m., 2 lobster tails, just $22, served with rice, veggies, garlic butter, and a warm biscuit. Thursdays from 4 p.m., sink your teeth into their surf and turf, an 8-ounce New York strip with shrimp, fries, and pepper sauce, only $19. Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., enjoy any burger, sandwich, pizza, or main for just $7. Certain conditions apply. All you need is a valid Playground's player's card, and it's free. Details this good are worth the trip only at the Rail inside the Playground complex. Visit playground.ca for details. Also brought to you in part by Bittt Tibi. You see that fridge behind me? They launched a new Ultra Lager, refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for summer with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing. Will Nazem Kadri be a Hab? Will the Montreal Canadiens make some moves, anything in terms of hockey or sports? On Betway, go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. First bet loses. Scan the QR code that you see right there on the screen to create an account, redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offer is not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older to participate, and please play responsibly. Without further ado, once again, Jimmy Murphy, how are you?
I'm great, Tony. How about you?
Very, very good. Thank you very much. You've known Jeff Gorton for a while because everyone talks about, well, Jeff Gorton, Executive Vice President of Hockey Ops of the Canadiens. And before he was with the Canadiens, he was the general manager of the New York Rangers. But before he was the general manager of the New York Rangers, he occupied several positions with the Boston Bruins. So I would imagine you've known him since then.
I have. He was sort of coming up the ranks in terms of hockey ops, right as I was coming into this profession as a hockey reporter, Tony. He actually started off in media relations, believe it or not, and worked his way into the hockey ops side. I think him and Mike O'Connell formed a great relationship there. Mike kind of mentored him, from what I know, and he rose up the ranks fast. I mean, by the time Mike was fired in March, I want to say that was March 2006. Yeah, it was a season right after the lockout. Jeff was already the assistant GM, and so when they fired O'Connell, Jeff became the interim GM there and was technically the GM of record when the Bruins signed Zdeno Chara and Mark Savard in that offseason in 2006. So he did a lot there, really, earned his stripes. And then, as you said, went on to bigger pastures there with New York. And I mean, let's face it. He did some great work in New York as well. He was well on his way to a solid rebuild there that kind of got accelerated when they were able to get Panarin.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I've heard tons of stories. I can't confirm what's true, what's not, but there was a falling out there, obviously, with Chris Drury and ownership, and he found himself without a job for a bit, and then he wound up in Montreal. So
Yeah.
He's got a great track record. Everywhere he goes, people that work with him like him a lot. He's got sort of a good, dry sense of humor, and he treats people with respect. And that's the biggest thing right there that, I noticed over the years that he hasn't lost. He still does that.
So run by that summer for me again. They signed Zdeno Chara and
Mark Savard. That was
Mark Savard. Wasn't that the year they pulled off the Tuukka Rask trade?
Yes, same exact year. So he was a part. You're right. I forgot about that. He was part of that as well.
Yeah. And if memory serves me well, at that time that he was the interim, he was responsible for that 2006 draft, was he not? That saw the Bruins draft, among others, Phil Kessel, Milan Lucic, and Brad Marchand.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. So those are even some great other accolades that he had there. And people are going to point, Tony, and say, well, the guy that came in after him, Peter Chiarelli, obviously had come from Ottawa, where Chara was, and people can speculate what might have gone on behind the scenes to get Chara to Boston. But overall, I thought in a short time that he was an interim GM from March 06 to mid-July 06. I thought Jeff Gorton did a great job. And as you pointed out, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, those picks were great as well.
We'll get to the rumor of the day in just a second. But first, I'd like to put everything in context and bring up once again your story for RG Media. And I took a snippet of the article at the beginning, which talks about some of the topics, if we can bring it up. Jeff Gorton said the Canadiens are exploring the trade market for another center. They're also comfortable with their current in-house options. We'll talk about that. The Habs executive vice president also discussed Mike Matheson's future in an exclusive interview with RG Media, which was with Jimmy Murphy. And could Montreal be a destination for stars in the future, as well as after the Dobson blockbuster? Okay, let's keep this up here for a second if we can, or we can. They're exploring the trade market for another center, but they're also comfortable with their current in-house options. I don't expect them to say they're not comfortable with their current in-house options, because obviously, you cannot throw Kirby Dach under the bus. You cannot throw Alex Newhook under the bus, and you cannot negatively affect their trade value whatsoever. Let's be honest. If the Canadiens don't add another player between now and the start of the season, they'll be comfortable in the sense that they added Zachary Bolduc and Noah Dobson. But I would imagine that if you talked to them about 6 months ago and what they were hoping for to start next season, Kirby Dach and or Alex Newhook would not be their second-line centerman. Your thoughts?
I agree completely. But I think there was a key thing he said there, Tony, that confirms what you just said, is we know we won't be a finished product if this is how we enter the season. So that's him saying right there, we don't think we're a finished product. And if we can't finish that product, if we can't complete how we want our roster to look, then we're going to continue that search into the season. So while he did what he had to do there, and I'm not saying that he doesn't think that these guys are good players in Newhook and Dach, he did what he had to leave that door open. And I think he's telling other GMs out there, if business dies down here for whatever reason, a lot of people decide, this trade, I got to say too, Tony, I want to preface it by saying a lot of GMs and NHL execs I've spoken to since the draft have been waiting for the trade market to take off even more and really explode, so to speak, because they thought with all this cap space, with things not happening the way maybe they wanted at the draft, that by now we would be seeing a lot more wheeling and dealing. We haven't seen that yet. And so I think what Jeff is saying there, and now this, I got to, let everybody know, this interview was done, I believe, Friday afternoon, and then we held till Monday to publish it. But nothing's changed since then, right? And so it's still kind of quiet out there. You've had some deals here, some there, but nothing huge. I think if all of a sudden we see a lot of these guys go to their beach houses. I know Jeff had been down at the Cape a little, but he said literally, I'm on call. I don't think I can really get into summer mode just yet. If that doesn't happen, I think what we're going to see is teams like the Canadiens and other teams out there that are looking for that same position, and that's a 2C, are going to be very active during training camp. I think as we get into some of the preseason games, obviously it'll be less preseason game. No, that starts next year. But as we get into the preseason, we're going to see some movement if we don't see it in the next 2 weeks, so to speak.
Let's be honest, though. Traditionally, the big moves to bring in a player of impact, top 2-line player, top 2-pair defenseman, done around the draft.
Correct. Or right at free agency, right?
Or right at free agency.
Yeah. It's like we would have, we're going into July 16th tomorrow. I think.
Like who could be available come September that isn't available right now? What can change come September? What can
change, I think, is once you get your team back to camp and you're starting to look at the way the lines are working in practice, even in some preseason games, you're seeing how guys blend. You're also looking at your cap situation, right? Because nobody has to get under the cap until right before the season.
Correct.
And so the teams that maybe now are looking at it and saying, I gotta get under the cap. What am I gonna do here? Maybe they've got a guy, maybe they've got a middle 6 guy. Maybe it's not the premier 2C you want, but maybe it's a guy that you can flip-flop between the 2 and 3C, and he can fill the role temporarily at least, and you see how the season goes, and maybe you reevaluate it down the road. But I don't know those guys specifically right now. I couldn't tell you the names. I hear a lot of rumors, but I can't tell you anything confirmed that I know would be available. But I think that's what we're going to see. I think that the talks will pick up again right as camp starts.
Frank Saravalli earlier today brought up Mason McTavish's name and said stuff can happen with Mason McTavish. He says it's a situation to look at, to monitor. I'm not so sure it will. Like if I'm the Anaheim Ducks, I'm not moving away from Leo Carlsson and Mason McTavish at the center ice position, who could be there for a very, very long time, by the way. And I think he could be a perfect number 2 behind Leo Carlsson. And on some nights, he'll play like a number 1.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the signing of Mikael Granlund was a little bit surprising. But Granlund also has played wing and even played wing in Dallas. You see Anaheim picking up Granlund to be a second-line winger? Or do you see Anaheim picking up Granlund to be an insurance policy should something happen with Mason McTavish?
Well, I mean, you just look right now. Let's look at what they were before Granlund got there up the middle. You got Carlson, you got McTavish, you got Strome, and then, of course, they made that deal for Paley.
Correct.
Right? That's a solid 1, 2, 3, 4 punch up the middle there, right? So I think you could see Granlund on the wing. I don't think they specifically got him to play the wing, but I think you could see him there and he could alternate back and forth. He's kind of one of those rovers that you could have between the center and wing positions.
Yeah.
And I look at McTavish. I'm with you. I respectfully disagree with Frank. I think this is just, we're all bored. We want to hear some trade rumors. Let's throw some names out there. This is a guy that's still not signed. He's an RFA. He's 22. He's going to get a good raise. But I think that Pat Verbeek really envisions him to be part of his future there. And he's part of that young core that they're building there. I look at a guy like Granlund, who was really probably brought in to just add more depth and to give you that versatility that you could have between the center and the wing position. So I don't think just the signing of Granlund spells the exit of McTavish. I don't look at that way. I think McTavish is part of the core.
I think the top 4 wingers on that team, if decide to put Granlund on the wing, are going to be Cutter Gauthier, Michael Granlund, Troy Terry, and I will say Chris Kreider. And Vetrano stays on the 3rd line, and he'll be there with Strome and Killorn. But I could see Michael Granlund playing wing. I don't think it necessarily means that Mason McTavish is traded. So what did he say about Kirby Dach? Once again, we don't expect to talk negatively about his players, but does he really believes that Kirby Dach, who has always struggled in the faceoff circle, doesn't have a very responsible, disciplined game over 200 feet, is not the most consistent? He believes he can still establish himself as a centerman. Like, is there any doubt in his mind that Dach may be a winger? Because I got that doubt.
Jeff said to me, like, Tony, I think Tony, he's looking at it like, I'm not going to rule anything out with this guy, right? I don't think he necessarily, and this is no knock on Jeff right now, he's doing his job, right? He's not going to give me all the details of how they see these players and where they see them projecting. But I think he's not going to rule anything out. And I think that's why he's just leaving the door open there. And I think also a key to leaving that door open is confidence for Kirby Dach. Because let's face it, with the injury setbacks that this kid has had.
Significant,
right? And we all know what that can do to a player mentally, especially young players. When you deal with that many injuries.
Very tough what he's going through. I think about it, and it's very tough.
I think that what Jeff is doing and what Kent Hughes are doing and Marty St. Louis to an extent, I think the team as a whole is trying to keep this kid's head up. It's just saying, look, we value you. We could see you at this position. We could see you at that position, but we value you. We, as we speak, have a spot in this team. Does that mean after I say this that they couldn't turn around tomorrow and wheel and deal him? No. I mean, anything's possible. But I think that what he's doing is he's pumping up the value to the kid, and he's also pumping up his value on the market. And I think that's genius. That's what a good GM or an NHL exec has to do.
Based on what you've seen from Kirby Dach, what's your opinion on him?
Exactly what you said. I think that originally when the Canadiens acquired him, I really was hopeful that for their sake, he could come in and be that 2C, and he could really be a key contributor up the middle. But I think, and I'm not basing this on the injuries. I'm just basing it on what he's done on the ice. But I do see, as you said, face-off issues. I see sometimes, I don't know, is he have that strength confidence, if that's such a word? Does he have enough confidence in himself strength-wise to be what you need to be legitimate impact center in the 2C slot? I don't know. I don't know right now. I think he's probably arguably one of the biggest question marks on the Canadiens right now. And I still think, though, that the raw talent is still there. And if somehow he could stay healthy and get that combined with the confidence back,
I got it, but
you never know.
Based on what you've seen from Dach over the last 2 seasons, they've been shortened seasons, obviously, because of the injuries. But based on what you've seen when Dach has played center, compared to the very small sample size of when he played wing on a line with Caulfield and Suzuki, and this is going back a couple of years, you prefer him as a center or a winger?
Right now, I'd say a winger.
I'm going to ask you the same question of Alex Newhook. Alex Newhook was a member of a Stanley Cup winning team with the Colorado Avalanche several years ago, in which he occupied the role of third-line centerman. He arrives with the Montreal Canadiens. They play him mostly at wing, and then all of a sudden, Dach gets injured again, and then he finds himself playing center. He's played both. You like him better at center or at wing?
I'll put him this way. I don't mind him at 3C. I could see them trying him at 2C, though, if they're not able to establish something before the season starts externally. I could see that a lot. I see that more than I see Dach in that slot.
If he has the right wingers, you know, and this is not a stretch what I'm going to say because he never put up huge numbers, but he can have the best offensive year of his career. Now, whether or not that is sustainable, and once again, there's also that big question mark of the face-off circle, right? In the face-off circle, Alex Newhook is nothing to write about. It's difficult. It's difficult.
I think that, and I think that's the common thread between both of them, right? Like you're just saying, and I wonder, not wonder. I mean, I would imagine, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. That's going to be an imperative quality for whatever they may acquire externally at the center position, is this face-off situation, because I think the guys they have right now, they say, yeah, could they do the job? Yeah, overall, can they make do until we figure it out? Yeah, I think we can do a center by committee type thing here. But I think in the back of their head but the whole committee isn't strong enough at the dot. And that's a big thing. That's a huge thing. Not just necessarily in terms of, we want good offensive output from our 2C and our 3C. I think having that face-off capability is huge right now for them. And I think that's something that will eventually force them to make an external move.
Last season, he had this past season, he had 26 points in 82 games. From an offensive standpoint, we're talking about Alex Newhook. I mean, it's not great. 15 goals, that's pretty good. The year before that, he had 15 goals. He had 34 points in 55 games. Prorated, that's a 51-point season.
Right.
If your second-line centerman could put up more than 50 points, ideally more than 55, but he's at 51. Put up more than 50 points, now we're talking. So there's something there, I think.
I agree.
But for all Montreal Canadiens fans who are talking about this guy, that guy, this guy, and that guy, all the names we've heard this summer, I don't think they're going to be satisfied if Alex Newhook is going to be the second-line centerman. On that note, let's get to Nazem Kadri. If we can bring up something here. Nick Kiprio saying that Kadri is willing to waive his no-trade clause. The two teams that he continues to be linked to are the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs. Now, we know the Canadiens need a second-line centerman, Jimmy, so it's easy to say the Canadiens would be interested. But knowing what we've heard from the Canadiens, that they want a centerman who's on the bigger side, right? Who's on the bigger side, who's on the younger side, is either in the prime of his career or the prime is yet to come. Knowing everything we're hearing, like unless that player is Sidney Crosby, is Nazem Kadri really interested in Montreal Canadiens? Like he's an upgrade on what they have, for sure. But let's take a look at the hockey DB if we can.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the cap hit, $7 million. All right. It's going to expire in 2029. So 4 years left at $7 million.
No, thank you.
For a player, let's take a look at his hockey DB. Do we have it? We don't quite have the hockey DB. No, we don't have it. So I'll bring it up if we can. Nazem Kadri's hockey DB. Kadri's hockey DB, 67-point season, 75 the year before that, 56 the year before that, 87 before that. Look, his last 4 years, this guy's put up points. There's no doubt about it. He's put up points. He turns 35 before the puck will drop top and to start next season. That's, I mean, unless your name is Sidney Crosby, I haven't heard the Montreal Canadiens being interested in anyone who's 35 plus years of age.
I'm going to tell you this right out. Talking to a team source with the Canadiens, and it's not Jeff Gorton, there's no interest there right now. This is a player that they respect, that they think is one of the better centers in the league. But in terms of everything you described in what they're looking for and where they are right now in their ascension to a contender, it doesn't make sense. If this was a guy heading into the final season of his contract and Calgary was to retain a good portion of that, then you see a lot of connections there. Then you see this make a little more sense. But right now, this doesn't fit what the Canadiens are looking for, and that's no knock on the player. This is more about his cap issues and his age.
Maybe if there was even 2 years left on the contract, maybe. But once again, he's a good player. The encouraging thing is as he gets older, there's not a drop-off in production. His last 4 seasons have actually been very good ones, which is not typical of players who are 35-plus years of age, unless your name is Sidney Crosby and you continue to pick up points, and your name is Alexander Ovechkin, you continue to score goals. It's not typical. But I can understand Kadri wanting to play for the Canadiens. I think we have a picture of him as a kid.
Yeah.
There you go. He was a Montreal Canadiens fan growing up. And so can it be this is more so maybe coming from the agent trying to get him out of there where he is? Yeah.
See, that's what I wanted to get to, what you think. I'm with you on that because by all accounts, why does Calgary want to move him right now? They're kind of a step or two behind Montreal, I think, right now, you'd say, in their rebuild process. Or whatever. And they've got a great veteran center like that can put up points and mentor those kids, has won a Stanley Cup. And right now, it's not like they're hurting for cap space. They're not in the worst position right now. So I'm with you. That had to come from the agent.
Who's Darren Ferris, by the way, and we're not, it doesn't mean it comes from the agent, but he's represented by Darren Ferris, who's a Cortex Management. Obviously, Kent Hughes' his former firm. So there will be some familiarity with the player. There's no doubt about it, and the agent. But sometimes it could be the agent or part of the group or the entourage trying to put this out there, trying to find him a new home.
Yeah.
I think maybe they look at Calgary and they say, okay, you know what? Player wants to win a Stanley Cup. It's not going to happen in Calgary.
And that's fine if that's the case. But I'm telling you, this is not coming from the Montreal side. That's the one thing I think needs to be made clear. So I look at that right now. And the other thing you mentioned his name 3 or 4 times. If you bring in Nazem Kadri right now and you're the Montreal Canadiens, what are you doing come March if all of a sudden Sidney Crosby is actually available?
Your hands are tied.
You can't do it. And I don't care what anyone says. Everyone will say, oh, this is all pipe dream and this is media generated. It may be right now, but it is a realistic situation down the road. I think we can all agree on that because
anything's
Pittsburgh
possible.
is blowing it up right now. Let's call a spade a spade. They are blowing it up.
Yes.
Sooner or later, when Sidney Crosby has asked this question over and over and over and over for 6 months or whatever it is, things can change in a hurry.
Sick Podcast brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all North America, driven to be different. They're a top fleet employer in the country. Let's go back to there's something on Mike Matheson.
Yeah.
That came out of your article. When we look at our defense with Matheson still in it, it looks to me like it's really good. It's got a little bit of everything. If you look at Mike's body of work since he came to Montreal, he's been a really good player. So sure, he takes criticism once in a while, but he might play upwards of 25 minutes a game sometimes, right? It's been huge right now, and we all realize that. So there are no decisions made on Mike right now. Obviously, he's got a year left on his contract, but he's been a very, very solid player for us. He's a very good penalty killer. He plays against the best players every night, and there's not much he doesn't do. Matheson going into the final year of his contract. Some will say that the Canadiens have a young defense and they'll need a veteran like Matheson on their defense. I say this, the last 30 years, history has proven that teams that win the Stanley Cup, go far in the playoffs, have at least one player in his 30s. Some have 2, some have 3. Matheson's from here. He's everything you would want in a professional. I can understand other teams wanting to add a player like that. But does a player like that get you a second-line centerman in the prime of his career? I don't think so.
Not alone. Not by himself.
Not alone for sure. It would have to be probably, if he's older, the other player that you'd have to pair him with has to be a very, very good prospect who's very young.
Exactly.
You would think.
Canadiens have plenty of.
Your thoughts on what Gordon had to say on Mike Matheson, and how do you think it's all going to shape out? I
mean, I think he's thinking just like you right now, Tony. He looks at it like, look, we're not ruling anything out, right? And I think he kind of said that there when he's talking about, nothing's set in stone here. We don't know what's going on. There's no decision that's been made. So he's leaving the door open. Good job by him again. But other than that, he's praising him, and he's looking at Mike and saying, look, regardless of if we can get a contract signed by the beginning of this coming season, we have no problem having you around because we do value. It's just a matter of agreeing on what the number is to that value in terms of an extension. Is there a chance that you could see him go all the way through the season without a deal? Maybe. I mean, maybe he's just one of those guys that he looks at it and says, all right, I'm going to help this team take the next step and maybe get them to the second round of the playoffs or maybe deeper. And then my value goes up in the process. So if they don't want to bring me back next offseason, then I've written my ticket to another team and I get a good contract at the end of my career. So it's like there's a lot of win-win in this situation, I think, for both sides, the player and the team. And I think Gorton realizes that. And that's why he was very quick to praise him, a little, even more than I expected. But I like what he said about him. And I'm with you, Tony. I think he has a ton of value. The guy's from there. He understands the market. It's not an issue for him. So the pressure's not getting to him. And hey, he took a lot of heat, Tony, and I thought he ducked a lot of it. And I think he answered the bell on a lot of nights when people had written him off.
Yeah. Look, he's easy to criticize because he does make mistakes, but he does make mistakes because he plays 25 minutes a game, and he does make mistakes because he plays against the best players on the other team who will make a lot of defensemen look average on many nights. He doesn't ask for 25 minutes.
No.
They give him 25 minutes. He doesn't say you have to put me against the best players on the other team. So if it gets to a point where Mike Matheson is going to play 18 minutes a game one day for the Montreal Canadiens on a third pair, How are you going to get better than him?
Thank you.
Local guy too.
Yep.
You know,
he's in the media.
The guy's got lungs that are unbelievable. Like the guy can play the whole game.
Yep.
And you know what the thing I love most about Matheson? If you watch the way he skates, he glides.
Mm-hmm.
Players like that take longer to get older.
Exactly.
Some players that lose that foot speed, they go from like 33 to 37 overnight.
Yep.
Some of them, when they hit 33, they're skating like a 30-year-old because they're gliding. Mike Matheson's gliding.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, and you know what? And he could be a really good mentor. The only thing is that he's a left-handed defenseman in an organization that has a lot of left-handed defensemen.
Right.
There's a lot of them, right? So you would think, okay, you know what? He could be expendable. But if they're trading Mike Matheson, the Canadiens have to absolutely get that second line center. Like I don't see Matheson being traded for any other positional player. I don't.
And here's the thing: if you do trade him, and even if he's part of a package that helps you get that 2C, I still think somehow you got to find something else, whether it's on waivers or just in a small trade of a veteran to bring in. I'm with you. You said it before. You need those guys in the playoffs. It's huge. I mean, think how much David Savard helped them last year.
Yeah.
You know, look how much they admired him and what he meant to those kids and the way they reacted once he said, this is going to be my last game. You need that. I mean, I started here. Look, the 2010-2011 Boston Bruins do not win the Stanley Cup. And I'm not putting Mike Matheson on the level of Mark Recchi. I don't think Mike Matheson is going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm just trying to show you the impact that a veteran player like that can have.
Yeah.
He came in and he did that for that team. And we've seen it so many times after that where that matters. And they'd have to, I think, then turn around and replace him a bit in terms of that veteran experience.
So now in ending, I think you guys talked about Montreal becoming a destination.
Yeah.
For a lot of star players wanting to play. Talk to me about that, because we know that Montreal's not number one on most players' lists of destinations come unrestricted free agency because of several reasons. Media pressure, fan pressure, weather, orange cones, taxation, list goes on and on.
Yeah.
But I think it's more attractive than it ever has been, despite all those things.
I would 100% agree.
Marty St. Louis. It's very, can I look to your thoughts?
I just want to
Marty St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's why it's more attractive.
It's a player-friendly atmosphere on the ice and off it right now. We want to win with you. We don't want to just win. We want to win this as a team. And when I say team, I mean players, coaches, and hockey ops all in it as one. And I know that sounds corny and cheesy, but players appreciate that. When there's open lines of communications up the ranks, it matters in an organization. So I think that's one of the attractive things. Also, I honestly think, I don't know about you, Tony, but in talking to a lot of these younger players, I don't know if they've got really cool parents that appreciate history and are teaching them a lot. I think players around the league are starting to appreciate the history of the game a little more and appreciate when they go into a Montreal or a Toronto or any Canadian city or a Boston or a New York or a Detroit. I think they understand that a little more than maybe the generation right before them did. And I think that's helping them as well.
I think that's a great point. There's something that I think really helped the Canadiens this past season in terms of sending a message around the league that Montreal's a place to play. And I think they have a chance to double down for the next upcoming season. What am I talking about? Hudson. Mm-hmm. Hudson was, according to most, small, undersized. He's going to get drilled. He's going to get hammered. He's not going to be able to do it. And he ties the league record for 60 assists for rookie defenseman. Puts up 66 points. He's unbelievable. He made his share of mistakes, learning moments for a young player. Every time he made them, he went right back out there next shift. Mm-hmm. Made him, whether it was in the regular season or whether in the playoffs with Ovechkin scoring a game winner in overtime. Mm-hmm. right back out there next shift, right back out there next game.
Yep.
Go over, talk to him, short and sweet, pat on the back out there, Marty St. Louis, Stéphane Robida, the entire staff. And I think players saw that and they said, wow, you know what? This is a place where they could probably live with your mistakes. If Demidov has a great year this year, and the Canadiens can have back-to-back Calder Cup winners, Rookie of the Year, Hudson, Demidov, it's going to become even more attractive to play.
Oh, yeah.
If Demidov, in all his creativity and all his imagination, is going to be able to go out there and do his thing, and you know what, not be punished for it, and still continue to get ice time, and still continue to get a regular shift and put up points, it's going to go a long way.
I 100% agree, Tony. I love what you're saying there. And I've talked to players about this too. When they're looking at teams, younger players, what do they look at? And that's one of the key things there. Can I grow by making mistakes? Is that like, am I going to really, every team is going to say, look, yeah, we'll accept that. But when it comes down to it and you're in the heat of the moment,
yeah,
it's a lot harder to do it. And the Canadiens have done a great job of establishing that culture. I think that will help. And, you know, I look at the other thing too, when we talk about financials, taxes and all that, and they can't get around the taxes. There's nothing they can do. And you know what? Like, well, I didn't agree with my good friend, Marty Walsh, the head of the PA, when he, I think was at the Stanley Cup final in their annual press conference at the beginning. And he said, this is just a media generated thing, this tax thing in the Sunbelt states. Well, no, it's not. It's a fact. Is it the end all be all and where a player chooses? No, but it can be a factor. If you're weighing one or the other, it does become a factor. And let's face it, agents want their clients to make as much as they can. So it's a factor. There's no way really to change that. But there's other things. And like, it was funny, Jeff Marek, you know, Jeff, great guy.
Yeah.
Reached out to me after he read this article. And he said, that's interesting what he said there. And he goes, I wonder, and he made a great point. I'll read it to you right now because I know he said it publicly too. But he said, I wonder if what he's talking about is that the bonus money sometimes is paid on July 1st, where the players are living at the time they're paid. And once that's paid, the team can get around, the team that acquires him after that point can get around some of these obstacles when it comes to the finances. So Jeff, I like the way, the gist I got from him, and I think we already saw this with Kent, is the creativity.
Yeah.
Right? You see it on the ice with Marty, and now you see it in hockey operations with Hughes and Gorton. So I think that's something that's really going to help the Canadiens going forward.
The Sick Podcast brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, brought to you by Playground, brought to you by Bittt Tibi, and brought to you by Betway. If you like the podcast tonight, leave us a 5-star review on Apple. It's our way of feeling the love. Jimmy Murphy of the Sick Podcast, the Eye Test, and RG Media. Thank you very much, my man.
My pleasure, my friend. And
Talk
Tony?
Yeah.
What did we think of the FIFA Club World Cup? Were you a fan? I know you're a soccer fan.
I'll tell you what I loved about it. I love the fact that the American public got to see world-class soccer and world-class soccer players.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about it is I think that players playing a soccer game on the 12th of July and their season's going to open up on the 14th of August, and they're going to be in training camp for at least 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
These players have about 10 days, 2 weeks max to rest and recover. 3 weeks max.
Yeah. I know.
I think they need a lot more rest time than that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I did like the
But
visibility it gave, though, in North America, because we don't – soccer's a niche sport in the States.
Yeah.
You know,
Trump liked the visibility too. That's why you stayed in with for the picture with the club guy. They were looking at him like the president of FIFA was trying to take him out of the picture. Goes, no, it's okay. I'll stay here. Yeah. Anyway, I know you're
no comment. All right.
Okay.
Good times, buddy.
Thanks. Nice talking to you. We'll talk
Always
to you
a pleasure.
soon. For Shane Gomo, I'm Master Control. It's a Sick Podcast. I'm Marinaro. By the way, watch tomorrow night. Special guest. Should I tell you? Yeah, I'll tell you. Tomorrow night, Logan Mailloux of the St. Louis Blues will be our next guest. Former Montreal Canadien. I look forward to that. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Bittt, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.